Welcome back to D&D Beyond. How do you approach starting a new character, a brand new character? What are the questions that you ask as you're planning forward? And can we answer that question while adding sheer chaos using the randomize function that we love so much here at D&D Beyond? To help me answer all of those questions at once, I have brought two of my favorite humans, my favorite brains, my favorite gamers, to join me on today's stream. Please welcome back Sam Leve, friend of the channel, asset to every table, and welcome Danielle Radford, improviser, writer, gamer. We were superheroes together, and you have one of my favorite brains in the universe, so I had to bring the brain trust. We're going to make kind of a potluck party today out of our best ideas and whatever the randomizer has for us. How, Sam and Danielle, are you doing today?
I'm so excited to be on a stream with Danielle. Oh, Sam is one of my favorite people. Like, I get to be on a stream with Sam and Amy. It's amazing.
And we get to cause chaos, which is even better.
Oh, I love chaos more than my GMs do.
Oh, that's a very exciting prospect. But before we get to the chaos, let's talk sort of as a general approach when you're sitting down to a new character. And this is for all TTRPGs everywhere. In some cases, like how do you approach the whole craft of gaming? And also, if you have specific Dungeons and Dragons and 5th edition insights, please feel free to toss them in. How, Sam, do you approach a brand new character?
I don't take the same approach every single time. Sometimes it's different across systems, sometimes it's different based on tables. And so the first thing for me is really figuring out what constraints I'm coming in with already. Because there are parties that'll be oops all blank sometimes. There will be people who are strongly committed to specific concepts. And I might want to fill in around the concepts. I might very often have a given build that I'm interested in exploring or something that I know I've been waiting to do for a while. Like I might be making a fairy character next time after being introduced. You're on D&D Beyond because you get to fly and also cause mischief. And what's better than mischief but in the air? So for me, a lot of it is establishing what do I work around, because constraints create the structure that creativity can happen within. And so figuring out what my signposts are is always my very first step when making a character.
And I noticed there were two directions there. You have the kind of outside in, the sort of like, all right, what's everybody else doing or how does this fit in? And then the sort of inside out of like, I want to try thing X. How does that work from there? Which gives you some options. Danielle, what is the first step? How do you approach? All right, new character time. Let's go.
I am very much an inside out person. I as a super nerdy theater nerd, whatever. My thing is always finding as a writer, as an actor, is finding the kernel of truth. So finding a thing that might not necessarily be me, but something I connect with is like usually the first thing that I do. And also, and I'm just going to be honest, I, at a lot of systems, am very new. And so I will opt to just play dummies. I love playing the dumbest person at a table. First of all, it's very fun. Secondly, it kind of gives me like an out for when it's like I have to learn this thing and I'm maybe not very good at it yet, but it's really fun and I'm having the best time. So very often, depending on the system and depending on what we're doing, I will default to like, oh, I'm just gonna be super stupid.
I love that. I would ask your advice because I know I have having played with you, I know that you walk this line very well, but it might be not super intuitive. When you're playing a character who's not sure what's going on or who doesn't know how the world works, um, it can be tough to make sure that you're the way you're playing them rather than like make the group explain to me what's going on or hold them back because I'm like, what? I don't know about that or care what's going on over there. How do you keep your character who doesn't know what's going on sort of group cooperative and just like how do you keep it the fun version?
I go with the flow and then I make little jokes. I again, I'm a comedian, like, that is what I do. So my thing will always be, like, pay attention to what the group is doing, follow what the group is doing. If I, as Danielle Radford, am still learning, because D&D is for everyone, if I am still learning how to do a system or a new system, I'll follow everyone, wait and see what's happening, and then boom, come in with, like, a dumb zinger. And then again, watch. And sometimes I do have a problem where a story is so good that I'm just like, and then I have to be like, oh, wait, I'm actually playing. Like, I can't just watch everyone be really talented.
I would say that's only a problem from a certain point of view. Some of us show up just to do that at our tables. But all right. So, what are the big questions that you might ask yourself when you're planning out a brand new character, Sam?
Yes. First and foremost for me is what kind of mood do I want to live in?
Ooh.
That big picture as a character, I'm going to spend a lot of time with a given emotional palette. And as a role player, I'm going to have that little bit of bleed. It's going to be me. So, what vibe do I want to exist within? Because I can absolutely build myself a high strung nervous being and just carry over my real life energies very cleanly. But it is so nice to also live happy curiosity or confident and brazen and figuring out the vibe of the character that particularly for a campaign, particularly when I'm going to spend a lot of time inside of another person's brain meets, what kind of meats would meet my interest?
Danielle, what about you? What are the big questions?
So my first, and it's very much in the same vein. My first thing is motivation. Like, what does my character want? Like, what are they? And that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get it, but what drives them to um, be on this adventure, join this campaign? Like, what is? And sometimes it's something very specific where it's like, I have a relationship with blank, and I want to meet my blank. I want to go here, and I want to see this. And sometimes it can be as simple as like, I want to go on an adventure because an adventure sounds dope. So I am very much like into what motivates my character. And I'm very much after that I react to what's happening instead of necessarily being like and obviously you have to be active, but a lot of acting is reacting. And so you have to be open to whatever is happening, but you can do that while still keeping your character's inner motivation and saying like even if you know it's not going to happen, like hey, I have to save my brother, or I need to go back to my kingdom, or even, hey, I really want to fight everything that comes across, which is not usually my vibe. My vibe is usually, I want to make friends. Like, I want to make friends with all of the monsters. And that's like also, but as long as you have an idea of what your character wants, to me, that is the clearest way to go through it. Even if you don't necessarily get that, as long as you know where your character is coming from and where they want. Again, like Sam said, it's very much vibes.
I love that as well because that can feed directly in. Like we've been talking a lot about like character choices as people and from like a performance and story perspective. But of course, this being a game, we're always doing both. We're always doing story and game. And the question of what they want can be a great way to work towards mechanics or to get it the other way around. So a warlock gives you a lot of stuff that you might be interested in pursuing. It gives you one really strong relationship that you get to make some choices about. And as we see in a lot of like long-term streamed campaigns, and as you've probably seen in your home games if you're watching this, over time, these particular like quests for certain secrets can lead you down the path of different subclasses. A dissatisfaction with what you're doing can lead you in the direction of multiclassing. A desire to learn about what happened to your family or secrets of the world that tie in with your backstory can take you in a lot of unexpected directions. But those all can bounce back and forth between helping you make game choices and helping you make story choices. And if one or the other of those is where you feel more confident, you can always just like reverse engineer it from the other side.
And I will be very honest about this. As a as a writer and a player and a blah blah blah, even if it doesn't necessarily serve my character, I always choose to serve the story, whatever that might be. So whatever
Mm.
choices I make them because I think they make the story better before preferring if it makes like if it's like I put the story before my character, if that makes sense.
It does. It's a great way to sort of resolve some of these. Which direction do I want to go? Like, is this a case where I think this will help everybody's like story and to make a great memory for me, even though it's really going to kind of bum me out? Like, sometimes that's the move. Mm.
Sometimes the best thing we can do as players at a table with friends is do a collaborative thing that positions our character as a good foil to what someone else is trying to do. I think all of my favorite players are ones who are very sharply paying attention to what everyone is doing, reacting, as Danielle says, and figuring out ways that their character can authentically facilitate the other stories that are happening at the table. It's one of the great things about having that great like audience view while being at the table means that you're invested and really paying attention to what's going on with other stories that these characters are going through because no character in an adventuring party is in a vacuum. We're always interacting with and growing from others, and to the extent that it can be someone else's character helping my character helping someone else in just the beautiful circle. Not only does that make great story where you feel like you aren't the only person in charge of pushing your plot payload, but it emphasizes the best thing about these games, which is the that it's collaborative and social and this thing you do with people because you think their ideas are neat.
And I think we've all played at a table where someone is like, "Well, I am the seventh son of the seventh son and the seventh son and the seventh son," and they decide that the entire story is about them. And that's not like fun for anyone else,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
It is.
And
It's
eventually
striking that balance of like you want to bring meaningful story possibilities to the table, but you are, not the only person here. And in fact, I love what you've both outlined there is that like you described it as putting the game above your character, but it's not working against your own fun. That is your fun because that's the way you approach the game. And I think there are a lot of possibilities of like that can be all of our fun when we really think about it. It doesn't always mean making the bummer choice for yourself, obviously, but sometimes that's the fun choice. All right, we do have a couple great
Yeah.
comments already. Rav Bunna says, I start by drawing my character to work out the feel of them. So jealous of the artists of the world who can do this because that's an amazing choice to like just find out what if you draw them with a weird weapon, maybe that told you what kind of martial class you wanted to be. If they have a funky look in their face, maybe they're mischievous now or proud or you know playful. And D. Koffler has a very important question. Who else really needs to see Sam's puppy?
Uh, 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 uh. Are you kidding me? Oh.
Thank you, special guest
D&D
appearance.
Beyond, please say hello to Ferocia, our senior associate pupducer.
I want to love.
She would
Oh,
love
okay, well,
that.
now you come. My baby won't get on screen, but they're very, for people who follow me, my babies accidentally pushed a dresser onto my face and gave me a black eye. And they have been the most, yes, baby, cuddly babies since that happened, and they feel so bad. My little ginger terror. Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
I can't
little
lift her up.
nightmare.
I know, Ripley and Hudson. So Ripley right now is like literally climbing into my lap, but I can't lift her up because she's like not, she's camera shy. Um, oh,
Ripley and
sweet baby.
Hudson.
Ripley and Hudson. I'm such a nerd.
Amazing. All right. I got very excited by that question, but we are not just here to talk in theory about approaching characters. We're going to throw all of that careful planning out the window and play with the random button on D&D Beyond. And we are going to make ourselves a party. Hmm,
Whew, okay.
I'm
all
excited.
right. Using randomize.
I didn't bring my dice.
Hmm,
It's fine.
That's why we have digital dice. They're always with
I
Digital
know.
die.
We're going to let it be any which place. We're only level 1, so multi-class won't be a factor. And I'm gonna boringly name them characters A, B, C, and D as we go through here because we're gonna find out who exactly they are. Are we ready? Drum roll, please. We have for our potluck party a satyr bard, level 1.
Yeah.
Charisma's 12, so we're facing some challenges as a bard. But it's a bonus. Very strong bard. Got a 15 strength, 14 dexterity, 14 intelligence, 14 wisdom. They're not bad stats on the whole,
Even.
except that charisma is 12. So we'll work on that.
Yeah, we're maybe
I
maybe not the strongest in constitution, maybe not the best at concentration, but I think we got hope. Got high hope.
That's a strong wisdom though.
It is
Crap.
weirdly like high wisdom, very low charisma. Are we gonna stay on the path of the bard, or like we'll get into this in the second half today? But quick thoughts. We are a satyr. We're a bard. We're level 1. These are our stats. We have proficiency in Arcana, Athletics, Investigation, Performance, Persuasion, and Stealth. So what are we
Oh,
thinking about
performance.
character A? Good. That's key. That will help us with our charisma situation.
I mean, so have you ever seen like the swashbuckling style, like College of Swords bard, but not from the rogue side swashbuckler, from the bard side swashbuckler? Maybe like
I've only
Cirque du
played
Soleil
rogue
sort of
style
vibe.
swashbucklers. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Because we got the athletics proficiencies and the performance. And I think all of these could come together into something that actually works with what we've got. See, we've got like a dex +2. And is it the most emphasis on charisma? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we're an aspiring, maybe we're like junior circus school. Work with the
This
I
feels
steps.
love
very
this.
Errol Flynn. This feels very Errol Flynn to me. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I
Ooh, I like
love
that.
that. Okay, we've got a whopping 7 hit points, but we are level 1 in our defense. All right, so we're a satyr. We're gonna lean towards these strong physical stats. I love that in our performance style. Let's see, we will have been assigned a background. Let's find out who we are.
Ooh, yeah.
Um,
Ooh.
uh, da, 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 da.
Description?
Ooh, reveler. Proficiency in the performance and persuasion skills, and you have proficiency with one musical instrument of your choice. Did that come from me just being a satyr? It came from me being a satyr. I forgot how that works. Y'all, where's my background? It's here.
There we go.
Oh, okay. We got one of the Magic the Gathering backgrounds. As an agent of our house, we can always get food and lodging for ourselves and our friends at a house enclave. When the house assigns you a mission, it will usually provide you with the necessary supplies and transportation. Beyond this, you have many old friends, mentors, and rivals in your house, and you may encounter one of them when you interact with the house business. Uh, so I'm just gonna say we would maybe make this house like the circus that is trading us, right? We're just gonna
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, 100%.
excellent,
Mhm.
Uh,
excellent.
Total
Oh,
carny.
Dara Jr. says Bard of the Ballet, which please make that a real thing. I'm very into that idea. And Rap Bunna
Um,
says name the Bard Hasselhoff. KB Tiff says as a satyr Hasselhoof.
oh, there it is. Whoop.
Star
There
Pilot
it
6 says
is.
I feel like this is a satyr who was pushed into bardness by their bard family, even though they're not that great and need to find their own path.
oh,
Ooh, that gives some good
mhm.
arc. It works very nicely with the stat. It gives us like some pre-existing relationship dynamics that we can get into down the line. I like that a
I'm feeling
lot.
I'm feeling very Bobby Drake, like, I'm feeling very, Robin.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice
some
man.
Grayson,
Or
some
Barbara Grayson. Flying Graysons, oh no.
I would say I feel like Iceman Bobby Drake as the like I'm trying to sort of joke over my insecurities side combines
Mhm.
well with the Flying Grayson Robin angle here. Um all right. Do we like the name? Are we going Hasselhoof?
I love
Yes,
Hasselhoff.
unquestionably.
So good.
um all right. And we made exciting changes to the layout that I haven't played with yet. So watch as I da, 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 da. All right.
So good.
Love it.
So that is the first member of our potluck party and how we are approaching them and figuring out their story based on these early choices. And come back next time as we figure out the rest of the party and which way they'll go from here.
It's D&D